Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Real World English. I'm Mike,
And I'm Sarah.
and you might notice we are not Emma and Jake.
We're not. They're on a well-deserved break this week, so we're happy to be filling in.
Absolutely. So, Sarah, today we have a topic that I think is, well, it's super important for every single language learner out there.
Oh, for sure. It's something I wish someone had told me when I first started learning a new language. We're going to talk about something called the spotlight effect.
The spotlight effect. It sounds dramatic.
It does, right? But it's this feeling that, when you make a mistake, you feel like a giant spotlight is suddenly shining on you, and everyone is staring.
Right, and judging your every word.
Exactly. And we're here to tell you nobody is looking at you. Or more specifically for our listeners, nobody cares about your grammar mistakes.
It sounds a bit harsh, but it's actually the most freeing and wonderful advice you can get.
Okay, so let's break it down. The spotlight effect, it's a real psychological term. It's the tendency to overestimate how much other people notice our appearance or our actions.
Mm-hmm.
So, a classic example is you're at a party and you spill a little bit of food on your shirt. You feel like every single person in the room saw it and is thinking, wow, look at that messy person.
Right. You want to go home and hide forever.
Totally. But in reality, maybe one person noticed for a second and then immediately forgot about it. Most people probably didn't even see it happen.
That makes sense.
And this feeling is so strong when you're speaking a new language. You say one word wrong or you use the wrong verb tense.
And in your head, the conversation stops. The music scratches. The spotlight is on you. And everyone is thinking, wow, their English is terrible.
Yes, that exact feeling. But the truth is, the other person is probably just, listening to what you're trying to say.
They're focused on the message, not the delivery method.
The message, not the mistakes. That's the key.
And I think we need to be really clear here. The goal of language is communication. It's about connecting with another person, sharing an idea, or asking for help. It's not a grammar test.
That's such a great point. I mean, think about how native speakers talk. We make mistakes all the time.
All the time.
We use sentence fragments. We say and Sometimes we start a sentence and completely forget where we were going with it.
I do that at least 3 times a day. And we use grammar that isn't technically correct. A super common one is saying, there's less people here today, instead of fewer people.
Oh yeah, almost everyone says that. And nobody bats an eye. Nobody stops the conversation to say, excuse me, the correct word is fewer.
If they did, you'd think they were pretty strange.
Exactly. So if we, as native speakers, are not perfect, why do we expect language learners to be? The focus is on understanding. If I understand what you mean, you have succeeded. Your English is good enough.
Good enough is a powerful idea because perfection is impossible, and trying to be perfect is what causes all that fear and anxiety. It's what stops people from speaking.
It's that fear of the spotlight. I have a story about this, actually. A few years ago, I was traveling in Italy. My Italian is, let's say, very basic.
Okay.
And I was in a small shop trying to buy some cheese. I was practicing in my head, getting all the words right, the gender of the noun, the correct ending. I was so nervous.
I know that feeling.
So I finally go to speak to the shopkeeper, and what comes out is just a complete mess of words. I probably sounded like a toddler. I mixed up everything, and I just froze. I felt my face get red, and I was so embarrassed.
Oh no.
But the shopkeeper, he just smiled. He pointed at a few different cheeses, said their names slowly for me, and helped me choose one. He didn't care about my terrible grammar. He understood I wanted cheese.
That's a great story. He just wanted to help you. The communication happened, even with mistakes.
Exactly. The cheese was delicious, by the way.
Well, that's the most important part. I have a similar experience, but from the other side. I used to work with a guy from Brazil who was learning English.
Okay.
And sometimes he would mix up he and she. It was a common mistake for him. But you know what? In a 5-minute conversation, my brain just automatically corrected it. I always knew who he was talking about from the context.
Right.
I never once thought, wow, his grammar's bad. I just thought, oh, he's telling me about the project manager. I was listening to the story, not his grammar. And I certainly never corrected him. It just wasn't important.
That's it right there. People are listening to what you say, not how you say it. As long as the message gets through, all the small details don't really matter in a normal conversation.
So, knowing this is one thing, but how can our listeners actually, get over that fear in the moment? How do we turn off the spotlight?
That's the big question. I think the first step is to consciously shift your focus.
Shift your focus?
Yeah, instead of focusing on grammar and accuracy, focus on your message. Before you speak, just ask yourself, what is the main idea I want to share? Put all your energy into communicating that one idea.
I like that. So don't worry about the perfect sentence. Just worry about the core message.
Exactly. My second tip would be to practice in what we call low-stakes situations.
Low stakes? Meaning situations where it doesn't feel like there's a lot of pressure.
Precisely. Don't make your first practice session a big job interview.
Right. Bad idea.
A low-stakes situation could be ordering a coffee or asking a stranger for directions. The conversation is short, and it's okay if you make a mistake. The barista will still give you your coffee.
Or even just talking to yourself at home. Describe what you're doing. I am making a cup of tea. I am putting the tea bag in the water. It sounds silly, but it builds confidence without any pressure at all.
That's a fantastic idea. It really works.
My next tip would be to find a friendly audience. If you can, find a language exchange partner or a patient friend who knows you're learning. Tell them, my goal is to practice speaking, not to be perfect. When you know the other person is there to support you, it takes so much of the fear away. You know they won't be judging you.
That's so true. It creates a safe space to make mistakes. And that leads to my final and maybe most important tip: change your relationship with mistakes.
Ooh, I like that.
We are taught to see mistakes as failure. But in language learning, mistakes are evidence that you are trying. They are proof of progress.
They're just part of the process.
They're a necessary part of the process. Every mistake you make is a little piece of information. It shows you what you need to learn. So instead of feeling embarrassed, try to get curious. Laugh about it. Sometimes the mistakes are pretty funny.
Oh, for sure. If you can laugh at your own mistakes, the spotlight just kind of disappears. It loses its power. And that brings up another point: finding your community. It's one thing to practice with a patient native speaker, but it's another thing to connect with fellow learners. And that brings up another point: finding your community. It's one thing to practice with a patient native speaker, but it's another thing to connect with fellow learners.
So, to wrap things up, that feeling that everyone is noticing your mistakes, that's the spotlight effect.
And the reality is, they are not. People are much more interested in what you have to say, and they are usually very happy that you are making the effort to speak their language. So, our challenge to you, our listeners, is this: find one opportunity this week to speak English, even if it's small. And when you do it, focus on your message, not your mistakes.
Be brave. You can do it. It was so much fun filling in today, Mike.
It was great, Sarah. A big thank you to all of you for listening. Emma and Jake will be back with you next week for another episode.
Until then, keep practicing.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.